Welcome to Unveiling the Veil, the erosion of historical depth in Texas education by Laramie, Duran, Hailey, Duran, Martinez, and Sarita, Llamas. Texas boasts a rich tapestry of diverse cultures that have shaped its unique historical narrative, reflecting struggles, triumphs, and contributions of its people. It's important to have accurate historical information taught in schools so that students can become informed and responsible citizens. Texas students face increased accountability standards with tougher curriculum, graduation requirements, and state assessment tests. The test and their coursework so that they are promoted. This is according to the Texas Education Agency. In recent years, Texas history books have shown a concerning trend of watering down historical information. This results in a distorted portrayal of the state's past. This alarming practice compromises the integrity of our educational system and jeopardizes the development of informed and engaged citizens. Our students need an accurate and comprehensive knowledge of Texas history so that they have an informed, inclusive, and truthful narrative.
History books in general are a big part of the play here. According to the New York Times, there have been drastic changes across the United States. The changes in the history books themselves and how they've changed 8 different times. Because of influence by state social studies standards, laws, and feedback from review panels, for example, Texas history books emphasize patriotism, Christianity, and the Founding Fathers, whereas California focuses on marginalized groups and ground up history, aiming to please and not to inform. Goal for history books is to inform and not to please. History should be taught from a drone view perspective rather than a person's perspective to avoid biasing and leaving in the most important part, which is the good, bad, and ugly that history truly is. That is exactly how we would like to learn history. Think of it as a story being told from one person, and the next person is trying to tell you the exact information. Information will get lost. The goal for history books is to hold the history that is stated and not to be lost because it is told from how one person interpreted the history.
Over the last 15 years, there have been plenty of changes not only within the context of history textbooks, but with the changes in curriculum and how one may go about teaching history to students. There has been an influx of bills recently passed in Texas that call for history censorship training for educators. Along with these training textbooks are also being censored by leaving out vast majority of minorities' histories such as slavery, indigenous struggles, and influential women. There is also a claim that Texas history books have been influenced by conservative and religious biases, potentially impacting the representation of events such as separation of church and state. According to Prism reports, topics such as these are being left out of today's concept of the past to fit a narrow, non-controversial narrative on what major textbook publishers believe should be viewed.
In addition to deculturalization and whitewashing, the social studies and historical studies as a whole is dwindling. As stated in the article report Job Market for History Academics Lethargic but Stable by Jessica Blake, she said employment data for the 2022 through 2023 academic year confirms that the hiring of history teachers since 2016 has been lethargic but stable. This is according to the recent report from the American Historical Society. Based upon the clear statistics, we as students can see the unstable historical departments both in high schools and colleges. Whether it's a decline due to whitewashing within the textbooks or the rapid loss of interest in our history, our touch with our roots as a society is slowly losing grip. Stories have changed, and first accounts began to cease due to less coverage, relevancy, and, to be blunt, honesty. We think by censoring our history it's protecting us, but actually, we are robbing peers of the truth and the wealth of genuine knowledge. When deciphering what is real and what's sugar coated, you get exhausted trying to understand what is what. So you begin to lose interest. A prime example of that is John Festerwald, the author of the article Latest Test Results Underscore Decline Knowledge of U.S. History and Civics. He wrote that only 13% of students score proficient in history and only 22% score proficient in civics. That means that 40% of students score below the basic level of knowledge in U.S. history. That's a decline from 34% in 2018. By bubble wrapping the current youth, it isn't protecting our society, but suffocating it. We're cutting off our ties to our authenticity and roots, subsequently dismantling both the good and the bad that we are meant to learn. Advocating for curriculum reform in Texas history begins with thoroughly understanding the existing curriculum, identifying its shortcomings, and supporting the case for change with comprehensive data and research. By establishing connections with educators, school officials, and the wider community, along with raising awareness about the significance of an inclusive and accurate Texas history curriculum, this is crucial. To improve Texas history education, we must organize meetings, foster discussions, and participate in lobbying efforts. Persistence is the key for a lasting change. Therefore, building a compelling case, actively involving stakeholders, and maintaining a sustained advocacy effort is vital for fostering this positive change in the state's history curriculum. History curriculum needs reform for accuracy, inclusivity, and balanced representation. Current curriculum perpetuates biases and leaves out important perspectives. Policymakers, educators, parents, and concerned citizens must collaborate together to review textbooks, curriculum standards, and teaching methods for a more informed, critical, and empathetic generation of students to come.